Hello, everybody. This is Jay with Guilty of Crime, and we're back. So, today we have, for the first time, and to dispel all of you naysayers here, we have Jennifer Soto's ex roommate talking on a pre record. I'm going to bring this to you live and we're going to do it together. I also will release the video, but I have no other than and nobody else than Jenn Soto's ex roommate. Yes, she exists. She is an amazing person. She's great to come forward and bring us more information. And here she is. So let's say hello, ex roommate.
Hey Jay, I want to start off. You guys are awesome, and I appreciate everybody. That's giving every. I appreciate you guys giving everybody a voice and a safe place to come together, as all ethnicities or sexualities and religions and race. And I really think that's important. And thank you for that. Thank you for putting that out there. It's definitely needed. So I appreciate you guys for everything y'all do for sure.
And thank you. I appreciate you very much for coming forward. And I know that it's hard for you. And that's why we're not showing your face because we don't want anybody either coming after you or just you just need that anonymity. And I understand that. But I do tell you right now, you're a hero, which is the opposite of a coward, which a lot of people are cowards. And nobody from Jen's side has come forward with any information. I feel like they're all hiding out and nobody's saying anything. But we have somebody that's really close that did live with her, and you do know the dynamics right around when this started after you moved out. So I'm going to bring the question, the first one, and this is a question that I had some people that I talked with that thought it would be important for me to ask you.
And can
So,
can I just real quick? Can I tell you one
yeah,
thing? I just want you guys to know that I'm definitely here to just speak my truth and what I saw in the amount of time that I was there. I'm not condemning anybody. Justice will be served righteously as everything comes to light. But this is what I saw while I was there. So please don't hate me.
absolutely. We all love you, and I get hate messages every day, no matter what I do. So far, everything I've seen for you is all love. But if some troll comes along, we're just going to ignore it. Are you with me? We got a pact
Yeah,
together
I'm not.
here.
I'm not
Okay.
worried about it at all.
Okay, so yeah, let's not worry about that. We had to pull down that last video. Jenny Esquivel did an amazing job, and there's bullies and
She did
trolls,
an
and
amazing job. She did.
she did. And there's a dad that emailed me that said that he went to rewatch it. It's helping him to get his daughter back, what she's saying, and I had to put it behind the paywall, which is sad because now he doesn't get to watch it. So hopefully, he'll subscribe or he'll get a gifted membership, but I don't want to do that with this video. So
Yeah, thank you.
that
I
being said,
I value my
yeah,
peace.
yes, and I also want to tell you that yeah, you value peace. That's why we're not going to put you on, but we hear your voice. I validated you. I know you're real. I know some of your family will say, I'm not going to say anything else. I know that there's people on the channel, and everything that you say is your truth and your perspective. So that being said, let's start with one of the big questions that we might have asked before, but I'm going to ask you a little different. I'm going to ask you, how did Stephan Stearns behave around Madeline when you were there? How did Madeline behave around him? And then I'll say sometimes, creepy creeps, and I could get
Yeah,
uh, more than
that's
that.
even too kind of a word.
It
Um,
is, but I'm trying to keep it like that. Sometimes they're affectionate. Maybe they'll touch shoulders or, touch their hand while they're painting, whatever. So I guess let me get back to when you saw them interacting, how did they behave around each other just generally when they were like painting or doing a project?
uh, like so if they were playing video games, he was always so in the room there was a futon couch and a little table, and they would be hanging out in the bedroom, and he wouldn't make an attempt while I was hanging out with them, which was very rare. I rarely hung out with them while I was there, to be 100% sincere. But he, occasionally she would sit by him, but he was always giving her hints at, video games or painting some type of figurine, which I and he, he wasn't. I wouldn't say that I ever saw. Maybe I saw him. I can see when somebody's keening on kids' interests, and which I found strange, but maybe he was trying to bond. Well,
Right.
probably grooming, actually. So he wouldn't ever. I've saw them hug a few times,
Right.
but at that point, Jenn was always home. So
Right.
if Jenn was always in the room with them, if she was in there, I don't believe, to my knowledge, that he was ever left alone with her while I was there. But he hit on everything that kids like: video games, figurines. It's like I answered in one of the questions that we spoke about. When
Right.
somebody does that, I want to hang out with this person. But she would usually sit on the bed, or if she was playing a video game, she'd sit on the floor. Occasionally she would sit next to him, and I felt like
Right.
maybe he got a little close, but it was sitting down. So
Yeah. Absolutely.
she would give him a hug and things like that, but that's about
But she
it.
was a little girl, and little girls are affectionate. My daughter's
Yes,
affectionate. Um,
absolutely. So it
but in
wasn't.
hindsight, yeah, but in hindsight, now that we think about it, there's a
uh,
good possibility of the grooming, because those are the signs when somebody's only interacting with the children and doing children's activities and
right.
just focusing in. So, more than likely,
Absolutely.
yeah, and remember, people, this was really new on in the relationship of Stephen Stearns and Jennifer Soto. He was never a stepdad at all, no matter what anyone says,
No.
and he was just a person that was dating Jen. So his any of his affection and any of his games and any of his things were not really called for at that point. It was very, very early on. So I'm
Yeah.
going to stop at that and with that question. I mean, how long in the relationship was that about at
um
that point?
I would say, I believe, like I said, I believe they started dating towards the end of 2017, maybe. I don't know
Okay.
exactly when, but I know that they worked together, and that's how they started dating. But he wasn't living there, so it would have been the very beginning of 2018, because
Okay.
I
And
left
he
June 2018,
and
around that
remember,
time.
folks, remember everybody, in June is when the pictures started coming from the phone. When you look at the records, I think June
Yeah.
17th, and I can go back and look at my timeline, is when we started seeing pictures. So this roommate, this ex roommate, moved out in June of what you said, 2019 or 2018?
18.
18. And that's when the pictures that the police recovered started coming, and they have that in their record. So on to the next question. We know, got the timeline straight, and I'm so glad that you were not there when that was happening, because I know that you already
Oh,
like feel guilty and you carry that, and you shouldn't.
I
It's not
I would
anything
have.
you could have done. I know.
I he I'm happy. He better be happy. I don't even never. I can't say that on air. So, anyways,
I know. I feel the same way as you.
you
I,
know,
yeah, I can't say anything. All I could say is shotgun and
yeah,
groin area. All
that's
right.
about, yeah.
So,
Would
yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So another question I had, and we talked about, Jen and Stefan being in the room together. And
Mhm.
I'm going to ask this question, but then I'm also going to add something to it, and then I'll have you answer. Since Maddie, Jen, and Stefan were in the room, all three of them were in the room together. Was it because Maddie didn't have a room, or did she have her own room and they were all just hanging out in one room?
So they were just hanging out in one room. Everybody had a room. Jen. So in the condo, it's a 4-bedroom condo. You have two
Right.
masters, one on the bottom floor, one on the top. So there's three bedrooms upstairs and one bedroom downstairs. And Jen had the master bedroom upstairs. I had a room, and Maddie had a room. And then Jen's dad had the master bedroom downstairs one. And so he would occupy the living room. It's, I mean, rightfully so. It's his house, right? So they would
Right.
usually
Go
hang
on.
out up there because he's a movie guy. He would watch movies and TV shows and things like
Right.
that. So he'd often occupy the living room. So that's why they would be in Jen's room.
Understood. Now,
And
the only thing I could input for you on that is somebody said something to me. They gave me an answer and said, "Oh, that's normal for kids to want to hang out with their parents." True, but that was not her parent, and it was a new-ish boyfriend that
pers-
was just coming into the house.
exactly.
So
So
that's what I want to add to that. That's not something that is normal to me. If I
no,
was dating, I'm married, but if I was dating someone and I had a girl or a boy, I would not be hanging out in the room with all three of us like that for a very long time. So
yeah,
he wasn't a
same.
parent. Let's clear that up, right?
Right, correct. No, absolutely not. I would not either. I don't. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. So no, he was
Yeah,
not a parent in any way, shape, or form. He wasn't living there at that time at all. He like I told you before, he maybe had a couple of drawers, and I didn't hang out
right,
with them, super often, and but that's what they would hang out because Maddie's dad, Maddie, sorry, Jen's dad had the downstairs and the living room, and Maddie would hang out wherever she wanted to, whether it was downstairs with her grandpa or with her mom or
right.
in her room. During that time, she wouldn't always hang out with them either with me. If I was there, I'd go hang out with her and we'd color and do some arts and crafts or, fly a drone or something like that. But
So cute.
she'd hang out wherever she wanted to.
How was her demeanor with you when she was with you? Was she like smiley and happy and kind of like, because my daughter's like that. She's
Oh,
very like, give
absolutely.
me, she very huggy and sweet. Was she like that with you back then?
Absolutely, yeah. Maddie and I had a great relationship. I love kids. I have
Right,
I have children myself, and they are
right,
the most beautiful people in my life. And so, I get along with them well. And kids genuinely like me. I believe they can tell if you're a good or bad person right away. So, you
right,
know, I we hung out and I did things that she wanted to do because I don't do a lot of childish things.
right.
If I play video games, it's like Zelda. So
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
a
I can't
rarity,
get
but
into.
yeah,
But
no.
you did it for
So
her. You did it just to interact with her, and
right. So we would hang out and, laugh and stuff, especially if Jen was, or doing whatever, if she had gone out, and I was chilling or staying with Maddie, she would stay with me if I was
okay,
home. And so we would, just hang out and do normal things that she wanted to do. It wasn't anything other than that. And it's just
understood.
so,
No,
oh, it's just
I
so
just
much.
want to know her demeanor if she was still
she
a happy kid
she was
at
so
that
happy.
time.
She was
Okay,
she was so she was absolutely from the bottom of my heart just the sweetest, kindest, just funny, loving kid. And she just a beautiful soul. And that's definitely what she had. And she
absolutely.
was robbed and failed,
By
and
everybody. Yeah,
everybody,
buddy. The system, the teachers, her mom, and
everybody,
I'll say that loud. Just everybody.
everybody.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I'm glad you did get to spend time with her and get to know her. You're lucky on that
I
level. I
I
wish I
feel
would have got to know her.
I feel blessed and honored, and I'm grateful that I got to be a part of her life for the time that I did. And the world definitely is missing out on one of the
Right.
most amazing human beings that would definitely be. She was genuinely kind, and that's a rare thing these days. So uh,
Absolutely.
I feel like we were
Absolutely.
robbed of that, and it's very heartbreaking.
It is. And I know that you're still I'm sure you're going to be dealing with that for a long time to come, and probably forever. I know how things trauma is, and it just never really goes away. You can work on it, go to therapy, talk about it, whatever, but it just you have flashbacks, and it's just always there. If I knew what I knew now as a kid or as a teenager, there's a lot of things that I would have avoided. So just
The
it
what
doesn't go away, but it's how you cope.
Yeah, I mean, the what ifs will haunt you for life. So,
Right.
um uh, yeah, it's tough, but every day, as long as something beautiful comes from this tragedy, we will we will do her name and her justice, and
And we
that's what
will.
needs to be done.
We will. It's not about us. It's about Maddie and helping
Right.
future children, helping future dads be able to get their children, stopping
Yes.
that whole mom should get them, even if they're a druggie and all, and letting them have access to men. They should still get them. That should not be the law. Those
Absolutely
laws
not.
should
Abs-
change. The Madeline Soto Act, we want to see that happen, and we're not going to let anything stop us. So, you people out there that have harassed some of the advocates, I want you to know it's not working. All right, so let's get to the next question. I know we
it
both are
won't
on a time
ever
crunch.
work.
It's
The
never going to work.
advocate, it's
Yeah,
never going to work. We will all always advocate for her and be a
ab-
voice for the voiceless.
and for other children as well. I have a
Exactly.
list that I'm working on, and anything I could do to bring it back to light, to the old cases, the new cases, whatever I can get. You can send me hate mail all day long, and guess what? I'll say thank you. You're in my prayers, and then move forward. So, it
Absolutely.
doesn't. Yeah, I'm not. Bullies don't work with me, and
No.
neither you too,
Oh no.
right?
Absolutely not. I tell my daughter, if someone's being mean to you, you turn around, you say God bless you, or I hope you have a great day, and you keep it moving. So, because not too
You
many
know,
people have a good comeback for that.
really quickly, before we get into the next question, I think a lot of times, now both of you and I are in the LGBT community, and we have to fight for our spots in life. We have to fight to
Absolutely.
have children, and we've had to fight because we're in the generations we're in our 40s, let's say. I'm not going to say
Yeah.
exactly, but so our life wasn't as easy as the kids now that are, and I'm glad that we paved that way to help them, be able to take their prom dates, a boy and a boy and a girl and a girl. But we haven't had it easy to pay to do this and to live this road with having a wife and having kids. So
Yeah.
that being said, I
It's
just want to, say thank you for doing that. And I'm proud
and
to have been able to do that.
yeah, and thank you. And I'm proud to have been able to do that, and I'm grateful for the generations before us that paved that way for us. And
Absolutely.
you know
Absolutely.
so it's an amazing progress, and I'm definitely an advocate, but I'm not gonna lie and say that I have rainbows all over my house, because I don't.
And that
um
has nothing to do. That's a trend.
yeah,
But as long as,
I yeah.
yeah, you have love in your heart,
I
you're
love the
raising children.
community. I love you
Yep.
for who you are, and that's pretty much what matters. We need a lot of
And that's
love.
all you need. That's all you need. It's nothing about that. My whole point is, you still, you have children, and you're in a female relationship, and people don't always look at you the way they do with a man and a woman. We're never equal, to some
Never.
people. And so, I don't know if that played into the factor with Jen, if she was bisexual, and maybe she, there was some repression there about maybe not wanting to be, because, for me, it was hard. I
Yeah, it was.
absolutely, yeah,
Yeah, I agree. It was hard. I don't know when Jen came out as bisexual. To be honest with you, when I met her, she was, but she
right,
was never. I don't know of her dating any women. I I I don't know of her dating any women, and but I know that she was an ally and an advocate, and she did.
right.
She would go to, she would take Maddie to the prides, and they were all,
That's
all, of
awesome.
course, the family friendly prides and things like that.
Yeah.
They would go most definitely. And she was out there at Pure, when that whole situation went down, which was, oh my God, that was a
Right.
whole absolute disaster. But I can tell you that she definitely was an advocate for and an ally for the LGBT community.
Right. I wish she would have been an advocate for her daughter, and that's another story. But
You and me both.
yeah, but I am glad, and I'll leave off on this note that I'm glad Maddie got to experience the love of people in general and the little bit of light that she did have near the end of
Yes,
of her life, that she got to experience many things and joy and some fun, because it was a dark place that she was in for a long time. So
it
um
was.
let's let's all remember that. All right,
Yes.
so we're only on number 3. Let's move. Sorry about that. All right, just quickly, we were what I was going to ask you, and I was thinking about this last time when the 3 were in the room: Jenn, Stephan, and Maddie. You always had your door open most of the time. When they were in the room, what did you hear? Was it really quiet, or were people laughing, talking, or TV playing loud? Like what was the general like
Yeah.
atmosphere?
No, it wasn't always quiet. No. You could hear the TV, and you could hear talking and laughing. And Maddie had the sweetest laugh, as children do when the world hasn't just dropped.
Tainted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when they are not tainted. She would laugh and she would have fun, and it wasn't always quiet, but there were quiet times. um but I would hear video games, or a TV show or something like that. And whenever I would go in there, Jen would normally sit on her bed, and Maddie would sit on the bed with Jen. And Stefan
Right.
would sit on the little it's like a twin size futon thing or whatever. And
Okay.
I mean, he'd be painting these figurines. I'm telling you, I was like, what in the world? Okay. Nothing against any of you gamers out there, just I'm
Oh
just
no,
saying what I know.
we saw his what was that, Reddit, and that's all he did. Though that and those damn Tamagotchis.
Yes, which is
Did you
also
ever see those? Did you
I
see
I
those, by
did
the way?
I didn't see the Tamagotchis. I didn't see those. I
Okay.
If I would have seen that, I wish I would have, though, to be 100% honest with you. I wish I would have seen the Tamagotchis,
Right.
because I feel like I pride myself on being a pretty judge of character. And I answered this in another question, but I'll say it again. I have a guilt of not picking up on that. And uh, yeah, I wish I
I
would
know.
have. I wish I would have, because that definitely would have sparked a very that for me would have been that for me as a mom would have been a massive red flag.
Right.
So that being
I mean,
said,
you couldn't have done anything different, but you did have an intuition by leaving your door open and not wanting a man to be in the
yeah,
house with Maddie. Now, did Maddie sleep in the room with him a lot, or did she move into her room at night most of the time?
most of the time she moved into her room at night. Now, if Stefan was not staying the night, Maddie would sleep with Jen,
Okay.
when she was younger. But she would when Stefan was staying the night, because remember, this was in the beginning, so Maddie would sleep
Absolutely.
in her own room.
Okay.
But when he wasn't there, or if she did sleep there when he was there, I think she slept on the little futon couch while they were watching a movie or something. I don't know. I work very long,
Y-
demanding hours, so when I was there, this is what I know. But yeah.
Yeah, you want to know what you know.
So I don't.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
It's okay. So I actually like your answer to the next question. So I'll quickly say it and let you read it, because I like the human stain part. Uh, and I kind of know the answer to this already. Did you feel it odd at all? And it sounds like you didn't feel it too odd. It wasn't to that point yet. But did you feel it odd that they had the whole house and yet they were all frequently in the same room? 4
Um,
bedrooms, and they were all in there.
Yes, give me
Just,
one
just
second. I'm going through my answers.
we only
Sorry.
have a couple more. It's okay. It's
I'm
number
look.
4.
Okay, thank you. You just
Yeah,
totally helped me. Um,
no problem.
So, okay, so I will read exactly what I wrote. I said no, but I guess that's because her dad also lived there and it's his place, so he occupied the living room most of the time. Maddie would
Right.
hang out where she wanted to at the house, whether it was with Jenn, Jenn and that that soulless human stain, or with her grandpa in her room. You know, she was pretty much free to roam the house wherever she wanted to. And I'd also
Good.
like it to be known that if Jen ever did sleep with her grandpa, his door was always open.
Not
So
Jen, you mean Maddie.
yeah, Maddie.
Maddie.
If Maddie
Yeah,
ever slept with her grandpa, I just want that to be known. His door was always open. So because I know
right.
that we had talked about that, so I just wanted to make sure that that was clarified.
And I appreciate that because someone said that too. She shouldn't be sleeping with her grandpa, but
Look,
different cultures do
I
different
slept
things.
with my grandpa and my grandma for a
Yep.
growing up. So different
Now,
cultures, different people, different things, you know.
yeah, and you know what? When there's no kind of SA going on, nobody would ever say anything about that. They'd say, "Oh, what a loving grandpa,"
Right.
and they wouldn't. The only reason they're saying anything is because, in hindsight, us knowing what happened to Maddie. But I absolutely feel that Juan was a stand-up guy when he was there. You know, he bought the condo, let Jen have it, and I don't know his background enough. The only background that I know is that from what I hear, pictures I see of him being a good grandpa and then buying that condo and having somewhere safe for her to live. I don't let me rephrase that. It wasn't safe, but he had somewhere for them to live.
It was safe at one point for her,
Right.
and then it
Right.
became unsafe. And
So if it
he's a stand-up guy. He is.
yeah, if anybody else has any information, do not shoot the messengers here. You guys can let me know if you web sleuths that go pick apart somebody or do a background check. Just let us know. Don't attack us. Just we're telling you what this ex roommate saw, and I'm saying what I saw in the pictures and with what she's telling me. So don't shoot the messengers, okay? All right,
Right.
number
Please.
5. Yeah, and if you do, we're just gonna ignore you and block you. So then, bye
Absolutely.
bye, bye bye to the channel. All right, number 5. Since we're not allowed to talk about the mental health places, like I told you earlier, that she went to, do you know of any medications that she was specifically on? Example: Seroquel, Xanax, Prozac, Methadone, Norco, pain, any kind of pain pills. Are there
Uh,
any that you can call out that maybe she did take?
Okay, so again, I'm gonna read this as I
Yeah,
wrote it
read
to
it.
you. Okay, so I know that she was put on different medications at different times. She was put on lots of mood stabilizers, and I know that she
Okay.
was put on. I know that she was put on Seroquel. Now I don't know how long she took that, and I don't know if I can say this, but it'll knock your beep in the dirt. I don't
No,
know if
you
you've
could. It's
ever
a
taken.
tranquilizer.
Yeah,
It's
it
a
is a
tranquilizer. Yeah.
tranquilizer. It's an antipsychotic tranquilizer, and so. But I remember her having to. I can't recall if it was Depakote or lithium, and I don't want to be quoted on that. But I do remember her getting her blood checked, and I know that she was on bipolar medication, mood stabilizers, depression medication, and as to what all she was on, I'm not 100% positive. But I know that places like that don't give you any type of controlled substances.
Right.
So she wasn't on any type of methadone or opiates, to my knowledge, or
Okay.
benzodiazepines or anything like that. To my knowledge, she wasn't.
Okay.
You know, they places like that give you like hydroxyzine for anxiety. They don't give out any type of controlled substances. So I don't think that she was a drug addict either at any
Okay.
point. So I don't know what happened after I left and what happened with her medications then, but that's what happened while I was there.
I just wanted to clear it up because people were like, "Oh, her being a drug addict isn't an excuse." But we're not saying she was a drug addict. We're saying
No.
that she had mental health problems and she was on a lot of different medications. And you just cleared that up for me. You don't know exactly, but you're giving us a semi breakdown of what you do know and what you don't. So that's all we
And
have to say about that.
mental health
Go
is
ahead.
important. Mental health is so important. And places like this really need to be seen. And
Right.
there's so many things that can happen from taking medications that your body does not need. And uh, yeah, anyway, I can go on a whole, that's a whole conversation for a different day.
And that's
But
okay. Yeah, we can. Yeah, we'll have more discussions so we can help other people to understand things as questions come in from the community. Then I'll ask you, and if you're willing to help, we can do that together.
yeah, most definitely.
Uh, all right, let's get to it because I know we both have to go. Number six, what specific activities did you see Maddie and Stephan Stearns doing while doing together, and what was Maddie's demeanor while doing them? I kind of asked that, but you can just read what you told me.
So they
These are for
played
the
a
people that didn't see it. Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yes. They played video games a lot, and sometimes they would be hanging out and all three of them would be doing separate things. Like Jen might be looking at her phone or typing something up or reading a book, and Maddie would be playing a video game or coloring, and Stefan would be painting a figurine. I don't the this is I'm telling you, the figurine thing, it really. So, they weren't always doing the same thing, but if they were hanging out in the room together, and at that point, I don't know that Maddie was so comfortable with him. He was working on that trust factor with the both of them,
Right.
and uh, he was
Which
grooming the
is
both of
grooming.
them. Yeah, he
Yeah.
was
Say that
grooming the
again.
both. He was
Yep.
grooming the both of them, and
Right.
it's sickening to see now what I thank God I didn't see the Tamagotchi. I mean, I wish I would have, but I might be in jail if I did. But anyway, so
Yeah.
I wish I
That
did.
seems like a red. Did you see any of the Reddit posts that he had about those? About how he kept saying,
I
"Oh, I
looked
accidentally."
afterwards
Okay.
after it
Yeah.
happened because I was not I no friends on any type of anything, I
Right.
never was. I honestly was only friends with Jen on Instagram. I don't even know if she has a Facebook or anything in that nature. So I never my intention wasn't to live there long. So uh but let's I know
Right.
you got to go and I got to go. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. No. And you said that when he was around you, he was always reserved or quiet, which is what I heard
Yes.
from a lot of people. Is that true?
Yeah, he was always very reserved and quiet around me. And yeah, I'm just gonna be on. I'm not the person you want to fuck around and find out about with. I'm not.
Right.
I have had to fight my whole life, and trust you me, I am not scared. And he's a big guy. He is a
Yeah.
big guy, and so he was always very quiet and reserved and observant. But I observed that, and so
Right.
I maybe subconsciously I don't trust men around children. Period. Some of them you just if you know you know. Listen to your instinct.
Right. And you shouldn't trust anyone around your children that
No,
are not
men, woman, it
direct.
doesn't matter.
Yeah, we're not being sexist here. You just
Nope.
never should trust anyone around your children. Always know who they are and never just don't leave your children with people that are not anybody. Just we'll
Yeah,
just leave it at that and move to the next
yeah,
thing because I'm
absolutely.
like that too.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we're let's see, Jenna
We
play games. We're at seven, right?
Yes, I believe yes.
Okay.
Yes,
And
we're
when we're
so
almost done, we'll go quickly. Did Jen actually play games or interact with Maddie uh while her and Stefan were together? Was she into the mix or was she kind of on the outside?
I never saw her really playing any video games. If I did, it was like once or twice, but it definitely wasn't often. Um
Okay.
or I wasn't there. But I can say that when I did hang out with them, I'm reading,
That's
because
okay.
like I said, I have a pretty demanding career. But
Yeah, I
so
know.
I wasn't always there, and I sincerely, I didn't hang out with them really when he was around, and if I did, it was no longer for an hour. But he wasn't there. But Maddie didn't always hang out with them either. We're at question 7, right? I feel like my answer is
Yeah.
not correct
No,
on that.
no, it's correct. It's correct. It's just the answer period was just when they were interacting, Jen wasn't necessarily painting or playing video games with them, and we'll leave it at that. They were
Yeah,
kind
no,
of they
occasionally she'd be coloring with Maddie, but she wasn't painting figurines with him or, like
thank you.
engaging in those. She would read a book, or she was a big reader. She would read a book, or she'd be looking at something on her phone, but she was present and in the room.
Right. Okay,
So,
perfect.
yeah.
That's what I wanted to get. We're at number 8, and this is the question of the century. Everybody wants to know is how did you meet Jen and what led you to move in? And you can make this quick.
All right. So I met Jen through a once mutual friend. I am no longer friends with this person. I don't have any
Okay.
contact with them. I don't know. So, but to my knowledge, Jen isn't either. They had had a falling out. But I needed somewhere to live that was a little bit closer. I had just moved down there, and I previously lived in a state where I didn't need a vehicle. Um, and so I needed to live closer to my job at the time, and Jen and her
Right.
dad actually offered me a place to stay there, while I got my feet on the ground. And so, like I said,
Okay.
the Jen that I knew, um, and the person I hope that she is, but it all come out, she was kind, but was she timid? She was timid, and maybe a little gullible and a little naive. But I didn't ever feel like she had a bad heart or that she was malicious. Her and her dad definitely extended me an olive branch when they didn't have to. And I will forever be grateful for them for that. But the person that I knew, because I can't speak to anybody's character that I haven't talked to in I don't even know how many
Right.
years, but they were kind, and I know I they were kind, and I think she was gullible and naive, and she had low self esteem for sure.
Thank you for clarifying that. And I know we talked about her being overweight, having the gastric sleeve. And so I could imagine between that and her breakup with her ex husband, no excuses. And let this be known, everybody, we're not giving her excuses,
No,
but with,
absolutely, I'm
with,
not.
yeah. And I appreciate that. None of us are. We're just telling you what we know. And her gullibility is shown in the interviews where, and maybe it wasn't gullible, maybe she was being cunning and manipulative, but when I see the interviews and she's rehearsing what Stephen Stearns
It's
probably told her to say,
it's rehearsed.
it's rehearsed.
It's
Absolutely.
it's 1,000% rehearsed. I saw her decline when I saw that interview. Um, I saw her decline from the person that she was when I had met her,
Right.
who had self confidence, to what I saw on that interview. That's absolutely not the same person.
Right. And I believe
So
that. I mean,
it's
uh
not.
mental health issues and lots of different kinds of drugs that they put you on,
Yeah,
and then whatever manipulation that she might have done and whatever manipulation that Stefan, you get the two together manipulating maybe possibly each other, and you have an
absolutely.
explosion. So yeah, no
Absolutely.
excuses.
I mean,
Everybody
I
just
know
be
my
clear.
kids try to play us off of each other sometimes. It doesn't work, but know.
Yeah, question. This isn't a question that I put on there, but did you ever see Stefan discipline her at all? Like when I say discipline, just tell her like, no, you can't have that, or no, you can't do that. Did he ever do any kind of that, or no?
Yeah, I think I heard him, kind of get stern with her once or twice, but it wasn't any. I don't even know what it was about, but It was probably about something to do with one of his stupid little, I don't, whatever, but
His little
I only heard it maybe
paintings.
once or twice, and I was like, um excuse me, okay.
Right.
And but Jen would correct him and be like,
Good.
so yeah, she would. So like I said, she's not, I don't see the same person that I saw those a lot of years ago. So
And
6 years
that's the
ago,
key.
yeah,
That's the key to this whole thing is she's not the same person she was 5 years ago.
that
This
I saw on TV.
yeah, that exactly. And also that you in person you saw who she was, and you told me that, she seemed like a caring mother, and she would take her to school every day, or Juan would, she'd pick her up.
Yep.
They never just pushed her off to Stefan at that time when you were
No.
there.
Mm-mm. No, and she didn't
So
really push her. No, absolutely not. No, she didn't. It was,
okay.
ugh,
So
it was
after you
disgusting.
two, I think after you two moved out, then the dynamics changed, and that's all I'm going to
Yeah,
say about that is the dynamics changed, and we see it
they definitely did.
in the pictures we see right after you moved out in June. Almost immediately, pictures and videos start coming on June 17th. So,
That blows
yeah,
it. Just it blows my mind.
all of us, all of
Whew.
us. All right, last question, I believe. Yeah, it is. And I have to ask you now, and now that you know what happened after you left, what are your feelings? And you could just read this, what we talked about. What are your feelings and thoughts? And how are you processing this? Because I know you're having a tough time with it.
So I'm going to read this exactly as I wrote it.
Yes,
I
please.
took a lot of time to write this. These questions aren't easy. So um, I am heartbroken, and I still can't believe it. I never in a million years that I would be sitting here having a conversation with you, Jay. He is
Right.
a sociopathic nerd, and he preyed on the innocent and weak, a volatile, poor excuse of a soulless existence. I'm still processing, but I think all of us are. And I can honestly say that I'm grateful for the time that I got to be in Maddie's life. She was an amazing, smart, kind, funny, and loving kid. And I am grateful for the help that was extended to me. I wish that I would have been there longer to protect Maddie. And I did feel some guilt that I didn't pick. I did feel some guilt about not picking up on any of these things at the time that I lived there, because I do pride myself on being a pretty damn good judge of character. I have a very small circle.
Right.
And at the end of the day, I know that there's nothing that I could have done to prevent it, because I wasn't there and I did not have any intentions on staying there long, and I didn't stay there
Right.
long. I hope and pray that the truth comes to light, and if anyone else was involved, may they be served with the hand of justice by the mightiest hand. For
Absolutely.
sure, Maddie
Right.
deserves justice. She suffered in silence long enough, and I can only hope that something good comes out of this tragedy. Mothers, do not just have any man around your kids or any woman. Silence speaks so
Right.
much louder than words sometimes. And we are living in a world full of people who get off on preying on the weak, and it's heartbreaking. Keep your kids close, keep your eyes and mind open, and your heart and mind always remember that they're two separate things. And there are too many young people being abused right under noses. Listen to your intuition, not your heart, when it comes to people and your children. And that also includes women, because we cannot forget that women are not men, that men are not the only pedophiles here. And
Absolutely.
I pray that whatever happens, whatever happened, anybody who was involved, may they suffer the same immense torture, if not a million times over. And I'm just want everybody
I
to know, she is guilty of ignoring signs. Yes, I don't think she's innocent of a lot of things, but I don't think
What?
she did anything malicious um to her daughter. I
Right.
pray to God that I'm right about that. Oof, I really might
And
need to go and
you know
meditate if
what?
I'm not.
I agree with you, and it's going to come to light soon. I know the investigators are working. They probably are working, with very little sleep at this point. Every
Yeah.
time we hear a press conference, we hear exactly what you just said. Them trying to figure out who was involved. They're not ruling anybody out yet. We have heard no ruling out, and you know, if that comes back, that now you know that there's culpability in her not watching her to the extent she should have. But if anything else comes out, just know we're here for you. If you know it cuts deep that she was involved, and
Whew. Oh,
none of it is your fault. Absolutely. So my dog's barking. Let me
I
1 second. Let me just let
no
me.
worries.
Can you hear him?
Yeah,
You probably
he's.
can. Okay,
I
but
I get it. It's
he's
totally fine.
they left my office door open, and there's no reason for him to be. He's just having a
Oh,
field
I
day with something. So
I get
1 second.
it. No worries.
God damn it. Stop. No, no, no. Stop it. No. No.
Oh, I understood. You you heard me putting mine inside before we got on the phone because I'm. Oh no no no! Come on. So I get it.
Hold on real quick. Can you hear me? Can you
Yeah, I
hear
can hear
me?
you. Yes.
Okay, hold on. Oh my goodness. I ran into my thing when I got back up here, so it's okay. I'm doing my best here. I tried to
No
get them
worries.
to stop, and yeah, we're on a pre-record, but I'm not going to cut this out because
Because it's
I
funny.
like
Why would
things.
we?
Yeah. Yeah, last night I had the dog camera on. I don't know if you saw that. I wasn't the dog camera, but I
Oh,
brought
I
the dogs
did.
on.
I caught that. I did. That. You guys are beautiful, man. Yet and bless you guys and your family and I'm grateful for you and your channel and giving a voice and having a place for, like I said, people to feel safe and uh, feel free to speak their mind and for being an ally for everybody. I wish I had that time. The time I would absolutely love to do that because God knows I'm a true crime whore. But um,
Yeah, me too. And I've got to learn to start working more on. I don't have mental health issues, but I'm living and breathing this stuff, and it's starting to seep in a little too much. So yeah, I gotta have
well,
a different
I
outlet.
have I have a degree in therapy, and I don't know, but can we not keep this part on that I'm about to tell you?
Yeah, we'll wrap this up, and then
Okay.
I'll end the recording, and then we can still talk. So
All right.
on that note, I appreciate you being on here. I appreciate everything that you've done to help um you know confirm what you saw before and actually speak out about what you know and the life that you saw and the love that you gave to Maddie in the time that you could. So, on that note, I will say goodbye and I will say thank you a million times over. Everybody else, I love you. Guilty of crime. Check us out, like, subscribe, and share. I will come on and do this live with you all later. And if
Uh,
you guys missed my show, then, and you too, if you want to come on under, just an anonymous name, Miss X Roommate, you can do that. I'll let you know when it's going to happen. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and say bye, and then I'll end this. But I will also we could talk for a sec if you have a sec.
yeah, I definitely have a second. I just want to keep Maddie's memory and voice alive. So trial's
Absolutely,
not come. The trial's a little while away. So we
it
can't let
is,
we can't let it die down now.
and you're
It's
100% correct. If we stop doing this, then it dies down.
right. So I love you guys, and I'm sorry if I said anything that you don't want to
No,
believe, but it's all that I know. And she was a beautiful soul, and I'm really sad and heartbroken. The world will not get to see that, and I'm so happy that she's in peace now. So God rest her soul, and may the hands of justice come down on anybody who does anything to a child.
absolutely. And on that note, we're out of here. Everybody, you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you soon. Let's do